City Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Doris.
Aki.
Molly.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris absent. We have a quorum.
Move to excuse Mayor Paris.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Invocation. Jeremy, where are you at? Welcome back.
You would bow your heads with me as we pray. Lord, I thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings you provide for us. Thank you for life itself, for a measure of health that we need to fulfill the calling you've placed in each of our lives. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor and responsibilities you give us to lead and to govern. Thanks as well for all of the freedom you embrace, that you give to us. Thank you for loving us in spite of ourselves at times. Your love is boundless, and your gracious nature knows no limits. In the scriptures, you've said that citizens ought to respect the governing authorities since you have established those leaders to promote peace and order and justice. So therefore, I pray for our mayor, our city council members, and all of our city officials. I'm asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and challenging times we face today, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a desire for justice and goodness, confidence in what is right and pleasing to you, the ability to work together in harmony even when there's honest disagreement. May you grant them a peace that surpasses all understanding in their lives as they lead and govern our community. I pray for the agenda set before them tonight. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our city of Lancaster. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Jeremy. Jeffrey, from our Criminal Justice Commission, will you lead us in the pledge?
Please raise your right hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay. The council consent calendar. Everyone have an opportunity to read it, go over everything? Need a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent calendar as comprised.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote.
Yeah, it's kind of tucked away.
Passes with 4 yes votes. PH1, I'll open the public hearing.
The speaker cards, do we?
No. Who's doing this one?
Cole's going to do it.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a brief statement?
Sure.
Thank you. This is the public hearing on the council's proceedings for establishing CFD 2021-1. The hearing is to inquire into the formation of the district, the levy of special taxes in the district, and the need to incur bond indebtedness in the district. They want to make sure if there are any property owners or registered voters in the district who wish to file written protests. If so, please submit them now. Seeing none, the Vice Mayor has already opened the public hearing. If there are any comments or questions, we will take them after the staff presentation. Nicole, you're on.
Okay. Good evening, Vice Mayor Chris and Council. Tonight I'm here to speak to you about the City of Lancaster CFD, the Community Facilities District Formation for Public Services, which was originally approved in February of 2021 and the resolution of intent was approved on December 13th, 2022. Sorry.
Those are page 2.
Thank you. So a brief overview, among other uses, CFDs can be used to levy a special tax for services on property tax bills. Both special taxes are based on an analysis of cost impacts to the city. Each new home constructed represents a net expenditure for the city, and CFDs can help offset that loss. The revenues can be spent on any of the authorized services within the city boundaries. Sorry, just a second. Jeez. Sorry, my tablet is not working properly. Okay, so new residential developments do not generate enough revenue in taxes and fees to cover the expenditures necessary to maintain the same level of service. So the CFD special taxes fill in that gap. It is important to note, though, that only new developments are required to join the CFD. Once it's formed, existing homes will not see a tax increase. Property owners vote to place tax on their own property. So the formation progress, as I mentioned, started in 2021 with a cost analysis. In December of 2022, a resolution of intent and approving the boundaries and recording of the boundary map occurred. In January 2023, we confirmed there was no registered voters living out those parcels. Tonight, we're holding the public hearing and election. If the measure passes, we'll levy the special tax and then record notice of the special tax lien within 15 business days. The services that are provided under the CFD are fire protection and suppression, ambulance and paramedic services, police protection services, maintenance and lighting of parks, parkways, streets, roads, and open space, flood and storm protection services, and maintenance of public improvements with a useful life of 5 years or more. The initial CFD boundaries will encompass the housing development near the intersection of West Avenue J and 40th Street West. Future new construction, as I mentioned, will be required to annex into the CFD to help offset the increased expenditure burden on the city. An incremental cost analysis was prepared for the inner core and outer zone of the city. The boundaries for the inner core are from 20th Street East to 30th Street West and Avenue I to Avenue L. It's the purple section on the map. The fiscal impact to the city for single-family homes was determined to be $901 in the outer zone and $546 in the inner zone, and multifamily homes were determined to be $631 in the outer zone and $382 in the inner core. Multifamily rates are equal to 70% of single-family rates. That's the industry standard. And taxes will also escalate by CPI each year to keep pace with cost increases with a minimum of 2%. So as I mentioned, the next steps will be hold the public hearing, pass the resolution of formation, canvass the election, if successful, adopt the special tax ordinance, and then record the notice of special tax lien with the county. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, so just so I'm clear, I've been on that game show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? So this is for all new.
New development.
Yes, I did, actually. All new existing,
Yes.
the ones that already own homes, this doesn't affect.
Correct. Yeah, it's
So
all
any-
new single-family and multifamily developments.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure I
That
was
their
clear.
maps were approved after April 1st, 2021.
Okay,
Any other questions?
Any other questions, comments? Nope, you're
Thank
good,
you.
thank you. Okay, we don't have anyone in the audience like to speak? Okay.
Again, now is the time to submit your protest. If you have a protest or ballot to submit, please do so now. Okay. Mr. Vice Mayor, it would be appropriate to close the public hearing at this time.
I was just about to do that. So the public hearing is now closed. Any discussion with council? Do we pause for the ballot?
Yes, if the city clerk would have the opportunity to tally the ballots, which she, I believe, has in front of her. I don't know if you want to come back to this item or if you want to just wait a moment. I think there's only 1 or 2.
All right, we'll just wait then.
Okay, I received one ballot that represents 18 votes, and that was for yes. And I didn't receive any no votes.
Okay,
Pretty simple.
so we've closed the public hearing. So I need a motion to approve and adopt. So Ken, you want to go through it?
Sure. So I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2305, 2306, 2307, and the ordinance levying special tax 1099.
And this is based on the results of the election being unanimously in
Unanimous.
favor of the levy of the special taxes, the establishment of the appropriations limit, and the incurrence of bonded indebtedness.
And
Correct?
that CEQA doesn't apply.
And CEQA doesn't apply.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you, Madam Attorney,
Okay.
for adding that
we have a
last
motion?
sentence.
I second that.
Okay, let's vote. Okay, passes with 4 yes votes. Okay. PH2. We have 2 speaker cards. We'll open the public hearing.
Vice Mayor Christ and members of the council, the Avani North Specific Plan was adopted by the City Council in 2017 to allow for the development of a community of 753 single-family residential lots and 2 parks at the southeast corner of 70th Street West and Avenue K. CV Communities is requesting to amend the specific plan to change some of the development standards, including the lot depth, width, and size, to modify some of the internal street circulation.
Ms. Swain, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
That's PH3. This is VMT.
Yeah, we're on VMT.
I thought they had switched them. Never mind. The agenda, I
Yeah,
must start over.
You're one ahead of us.
I was following you.
Thank you, I really appreciate that. When I read the agenda, it said that Avani North was second and VMT was third.
Okay.
So now I must start over.
Go to VMT.
There we go.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Chris and members of the council,
Let's say that again, one more time.
in 2013, Senate Bill 743 was signed into law, requiring the use of vehicle miles traveled as the metric for analyzing traffic impacts in CEQA environmental documents, replacing level of service as the required metric. The level of service metric was previously utilized to assign individual intersections and roadways a letter grade depending on traffic volume. In 2020, the City Council adopted the required VMT thresholds and guidelines, which have been used for all projects starting in July 2020. In June 2021, staff began working to develop a program to streamline VMT compliance. Vehicle miles traveled is the total vehicle miles traveled by a single vehicle over the course of a day. The intent of SB 743 is to reduce total vehicle miles traveled by encouraging the use of alternative modes of transportation to accomplish some of your daily trips. And you can see that with the yellow arrows. Many projects screen out of a VMT analysis because they are located in a low VMT area, meet one of the criteria established by the state, for example, less than 110 trips per day, commercial development less than 50,000 square feet, or have a VMT study showing that they would not generate a VMT impact. However, for projects that do generate a VMT impact, mitigating those impacts has proved to be challenging. A consultant team was retained by the city to assist them in developing a strategy to streamline SB 743 compliance and the CEQA process. The resulting VMT impact fee mitigation program was based on a review of council-approved master plans and policy documents, interviews with other jurisdictions, meetings with stakeholder groups, and extensive communication with the development community. The review of master plans and policy documents identified currently unfunded infrastructure projects which could be utilized to mitigate VMT impacts. These improvements included, but were not limited to, sidewalks, crosswalks, bike lanes, traffic calming measures, and bus stop improvements, along with other transportation demand management programs. The potential fee was calculated based on the cost to implement the identified VMT reducing improvements and programs divided by the projected growth in citywide VMT between 2021 and 2040. The Nexus study determined that the maximum allowable fee per VMT is $425. Based on input received from various sources, including meetings with the development community, staff is recommending the adoption of a mitigation fee of $150 per VMT. This fee is meaningful, will allow the city to construct many of the identified improvements, and would not be detrimental to the necessary growth within the city. The fee is intended to mitigate VMT impacts by making fair share contributions to cover the cost of identified projects. The examples on this slide shows what the current projects would be required to pay if the applicant chooses to utilize the mitigation fee program. Projects that screen out of a VMT analysis or have a project-specific VMT study that shows a less than significant impact would not be subject to the fee. Additionally, developers would still be able to mitigate through other means, including construction of identified improvements, combination of construction of improvements and the fee payment, and in the case of larger projects, the preparation of a project-specific EIR. With the adoption of the Vehicle Miles Traveled Impact Fee Mitigation Program and certification of the associated final program EIR, developers would be able to pay the fee and mitigate their impacts to a less than significant level. Staff recommends that the City Council take action as indicated in your staff report and adopt the resolution and introduce the ordinance approving the VMT Mitigation Impact Fee Program. Myself, the city's traffic engineer, Matt Simons, and members of the consultant team are available to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
Do you see this impacting a lot of developers having desires to come up here now because of this?
So I actually ran some numbers for the Planning Commission, and since July 1, 2020, there have been 1,374 cases submitted to planning. And of those, only 365 are subject to CEQA, and 335 screen out, leaving approximately 30 that need to mitigate. So it's a handful of projects in the big scheme of things. It gives them another tool to use to mitigate their impacts.
Okay.
Talk to me about the mitigation of using union labor force.
So union labor is not something that plays into the mitigation fee program. The state is looking at the impacts of the land use. So when the land use is operational, use of union labor in the operation of the projects doesn't reduce VMT. The fees that are paid into the program that the city would then be utilizing to do necessary improvements, those alternative modes of transportation improvements, those would be subject to prevailing wage and union labor. So the construction of the improvements would be, but not the individual project.
Okay, what other mitigations are there for this other than paying the fee?
So developers can do bike lane, they can improve their own bike lanes, they can put in sidewalks, they can improve bus shelters. A lot of projects screen out because they're less than 50,000 square feet. They generate less trips. They're within half a mile of high-quality transit. They're 100% affordable. So there's other ways that they can screen out from being subject to the fee. The problem becomes a lot of our developments need to reduce their VMT by so much that it's hard to find those improvements that would mitigate their impacts.
Somewhere like out at the 80th Street?
Yes, 80th Street and L is really challenging to find enough. And you can see it.
Yeah, on that example.
Oh, come on, go the other way.
I think you already passed it.
Come on.
One more.
No, I'm pushing the button and it's going the wrong way. But at 80th and L, they have to reduce their VMT by about 6,800. And coming up with improvements. This is not working. Coming up with enough improvements to get to that point is very challenging. So it's probably cheaper and more effective to pay the fee. There you go. Don't change it. Please don't change it. And you can see the very bottom one here.
Don't worry, that's how Marvin
I'm
is with a computer.
operationally challenged, obviously. Thank you. The very bottom one, you can see they need to reduce by a little over 6,800 VMT, and it's very difficult to find the appropriate mitigation measures.
Right.
So you're thinking less than 1% of our developers will be affected by this?
It's a very small percentage, but those who need to mitigate their VMT, it's very challenging to come up with options. So this is another option that they can choose to use.
Okay.
We would be, I believe, the first city to adopt something like this to streamline the process for developers.
Yeah. Historically, there was a developer, they go farther out of the core, the land's cheaper, they develop that, people don't realize then the vehicle miles, the trips to services.
Right, because
Historically, we didn't have we've got several developments that are out at
Right.
60th, 70th,
And the problem with being a large city that's predominantly undeveloped, on our far east and far west side, is that you don't have the things that easily make it screenable. Like if you were a Santa Monica, downtown LA, San Francisco. So the VMT standard applies really well to big cities that are fully developed. Doesn't apply so well to undeveloped cities like ourselves.
Walk us through, for the people at home, this is a state mandate and not a city mandate.
That is correct. The state passed the bill in 2013 and required implementation by July of 2020. We were not given the choice.
So when they talk about homeless and what they can do for homeless, this is what they could do, is not pass this kind of stuff, because this just makes homes more expensive for everybody. True?
For projects that don't screen out, yes.
yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Comments?
None on my part.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I do want to note for the record that the city did receive a letter from Attorney Mitchell Sy. You should have it in front of you. A copy is also available at the back of the room for any member of the public who would like to see it. But I want to note for the record, a letter dated January 24th, 2023 from Mitchell M. Sy, TSAI, was submitted.
Okay, we'll go to the speaker cards. Joshua?
Thank you.
Great job with the clicker.
How are y'all doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good to see everybody. I'm doing great. Loving this weather.
Thank God.
My name is Joshua Christensen. I'm a representative with the Southwest Mountain States Regional Council of Carpenters. And we represent 65,000 workers, carpenters throughout 10 states. And we believe that we will be impacted by the vicinity of all these different projects. And the reason why we say that is because the city should require projects to exceed the VMT thresholds and cannot mitigate impacts through environments to be built with contractors that will hire local, pay prevailing wages, and utilize apprentices from approved apprenticeship from the state of California. Not to mention real quick, our apprenticeship just became the biggest apprenticeship in the United States and Canada, the Southwest Carpenters, and that's something to be proud of. That's here with the local members in the Antelope Valley, which houses over 2,500 members in the Antelope Valley, which is pretty cool. Probably the biggest membership in the area of any other areas in Southern California, which is kind of cool. We take pride in our Antelope Valley up here. Workforce requirements reduce construction-related environmental impacts while benefiting the local economy and workforce development. These are community benefits that will enhance the improvements being fueled by the proposed VMT impact fee mitigation program by eliminating the carbon footprint for workers traveling from their cities, and instead of providing local skilled workers an opportunity to work on projects in their own communities and allowing them for more time to spend with their families. Other community benefits from local workforce having more time with the families is motivation to recreate and spend their dollars at local restaurants, theaters, hereby directly contributing to the local economy. In the recent 2020 report, Putting California on the High Road, a Jobs and Climate Action Plan from 2030, the California Workforce Development Board concluded that investment in growing, diversifying, upskilling California workforce can positively affect returns on and litigate control. Air quality management said that recently that local higher requirements can result in air pollution and reduction. Also, real quick, recently the governor just signed.
Josh, you can slow down.
Okay, cool.
As much time as you want.
Recently, the state of California reiterated its commitment towards encouraging workforce development and housing affordability through the Affordable Housing High Roads Jobs Act of 2022, otherwise known as Assembly Bill 2011, which requires projects pay workers prevailing wage and hire from state-certified apprenticeships programs and from meeting certain sittings, affordability and development standards. And so that was just signed recently by the governor, and it comes in effect July of 2023. We're here as the Carpenters. We're here for any questions that you may have, either today or on a sidebar or wherever you guys need. We are here to help you guys be successful. We're here to help the town be successful, and we know that your guys' goals are high above most other cities, and when it comes to local workforce, and we appreciate that and we respect that. And thank you so much for your time.
I have a question. Are you saying that, like, let's say the bottom one there, the 80th Street, if they can't mitigate out of it, you're saying that we should use the carpenters?
So here's what we come to learn with residential construction. Unless there's some kind of labor standards on any projects, you're going to have workforce coming from Riverside. You're going to have workforce coming from the Kern County areas, which the contractor or the developer will pay for the fees to get their project bypassed, but vehicle miles traveled, if you really want to look at the miles traveled, you're really going to have cars on the road coming to this valley when we have a workforce here that is ready to go to work, and if they have a fair wage job, they don't have to drive to downtown LA for a fair job to be able to afford a house. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in construction. There was a study that was just done in July or June of 2021 by Cal Berkeley, talking about residential construction and the burden of the taxpayers with that residential construction due to the underground economy of cash pay and workers being able to make ends meet with getting food stamps and other services for medical needs, and that's a burden on the taxpayer. And if we can put standards in the work in construction, especially in residential, then it actually puts money back into the economy. It saves our tax dollars to go towards the fire departments, towards police, towards the teachers, and to all those other things that are under budgeted at this time. And so that's what we're hoping for, and we're here to support any way possible, and we're ready to build. We're excited.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean Means? Meir.
How tall are you,
Sean, I was going to offer him my glasses, but that's okay.
Yeah, I almost was trying to look at your name. I didn't need my glasses. So my name's Sean Muir. I'm a local Southwest Carpenters out of Local 661. I grew up in this valley. Went to Joe Walker. I went to Del Sur. Graduated from Quartz Hill in '85. You must be from AB. You must be from AB. That's all right. We take pride in your grass.
If you want, I'll take an adjournment and you can take it out.
He's bigger than me, man.
He probably win. I got a knee brace on, so it's all
I'm with
good.
you. I'm Corcel, so don't worry about it.
There you go. Go Rebels. Oh, Royals?
You can't
Yeah,
say that.
whatever.
You're no longer
You can't
rebel.
say that.
Sorry, Royals. Okay, so anyway, I've been a union carpenter since 1992. I got into construction. The last 6 years, I've driven to Kaiser, Harbor City. Last 6 years, I've helped build Eastside High School. I've helped build Pete Knight, Barrel Springs Elementary. We've got a handful of schools. I was the welding quality control foreman for Palmdale Regional Hospital. So I've been out here for a while. I love to see the valley grow. I know a lot of business owners, Big Tuna. Been with those guys for a long time. I know George, knows his whole family. We're in favor for this vehicle mitigation. We would like to see area standards, local hire, state apprenticeship program. You'd be surprised how many union carpenters live in this valley that commute every day. So my cousin's retired highway patrolman. Back in the day, he called the 14 freeway the Indy 14 because everybody's trying to fly before 4:30. So I think this vehicle miles mitigation fee would definitely help on the union carpenter side, especially traveling back and forth. Definitely reduce on your carbon footprint as far as the smog and all that. So I think just getting our input to you guys to have you back and support this agenda. So I think I've said pretty much a lot. And Josh took everything I was going to say, but and where's this lady? This lady over here, we got to give it to her. 1,100 pages when we were at the planning commission meeting. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine reading 1,100 pages, but we got to give it to her, and definitely we're in favor for this agenda. So
Okay, this is for all of you guys. It's not just you, but wouldn't it be better if we didn't have a VMT and we had a community workforce agreement? And can the developer afford both?
Well,
Because that's what you're asking.
yeah, we're definitely asking for
up.
skilled labor. I mean, apprentice. Yeah, he probably have a better answer than I would. I'm just a welder.
And a
We
dang
like
good one,
Roberts.
too. Josh Christensen with the Southwest Mountain States Council, Regional Council. Hey, community workforce would be great. And then that would not only just benefit just the carpenters that live here, it would benefit a lot of trades that live here as well. There's more than just carpenters that live here. There's electricians, there's ironworkers, there's plumbers, and that would help everybody out. And it would definitely create less traffic going down the freeway if that was the case.
Okay, but answer my question. Wouldn't it be better to have a community workforce agreement rather than the VMT? Because I don't think a developer can afford both. And it would make it so expensive.
So you either have the VMT that developers have to go through, you have the 2011 bill that just passed, that developers can have that option as well, which requires, whether you're union or not, to pay prevailing wage. So in my eyes, the developer can be able to pay. The developer is going to make money no matter what on these projects.
Would you agree the developer has to pay that cost on?
Well, if they get their project shot through without going through SEQA, that's where they're going to make up that money right there.
But any money that they spend, not make up any money that they spend, they're going to have to pass on to the consumer eventually.
Yeah. And with union trades, they're going to get the job done right the first time, on time, and under budget.
I'm not arguing
every time.
that. I'm not arguing
every
that.
time.
I'm saying they have to pass that cost on. So we should keep that cost down as low as possible so we can, because eventually we want to go to a community workforce agreement. Okay, we're working with the city of Palmdale to create that. And I think that would be so much better for everybody rather than this.
I agree with you 100%, Vice Mayor.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd love to see houses on L and 80th. All we see is solar fields. We used to go right up there and ride our dirt bikes up there in L and 90th. So
No, I'm going to come to you guys once we pass our community workforce agreement and use your political clout to get rid of this. Because this affects the Antelope Valley tremendously, where it doesn't affect the Chatsworth. It doesn't affect San Francisco. It doesn't
Santa
affect
Monica,
the cities that are already
downtown
built
LA.
out.
We're here to support you 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think it's a state mandate, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where our hands are tied.
Your guys' hands aren't tied.
No.
We're workers.
Yeah, we might have to find middle ground, having,
Okay.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, council.
Anyone else in the audience like to speak? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Wait. Coming up.
I'm gonna be really quick. Okay, I don't have a script or anything. I'm an apprentice with the union, and I've been there for 2 years. I have learned so much, and I can tell you that I have driven to Moreno Valley. I driven to China Lake. I driven up to Fresno to work, looking for work. So it'll be really a positive move from you guys if you can implement either one or the other, but also to help the community. That's the main goal for everybody. Help the community, keep the money here, keep the taxes here. I spend about $120 on gas a week if I work 4 days a week. If I work 5 days, I spend a little bit more. So that's also affecting the environment. And I wish there could be something positive, coming out of this. And we have many different, I'm a carpenter. I know how to weld. I know how to work in hospitals. I know how to work on wood. And hopefully I'll learn how to weld underwater. And all these things that they teach us. And one main thing is that we get it done the first time right, but we do it in a safe way. We have standards are really high when it comes to safety. Being with the union for 2 years, and I'm already OSHA 30 certified, which it's many things that I didn't know that existed, to be honest with you. And well, thank you for your time, and I still have a minute and a half.
We'll save it for next time. Okay.
Can I speak? Or can I?
Sure, Fran, come on up. Is it your birthday?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. You good? I'm glad this came up because and I'm glad you brought up what you brought up. I'm not very technical in speaking of but I do understand that keeping the workforce here, getting our own workforce from Lancaster and Palmdale locally, we are going to make, like the mayor wants to make Lancaster the best in the world. But if we can build houses at a lower cost where our people can afford to buy them and afford them, not only buy them and in a year or two default on them, where they can afford to keep them, and you have their husbands that work here in Lancaster, you have your we have a lot of carpenters, we have a lot of electricians, and we have a lot of laborers. They're all going downtown to LA, to South LA. Keep them here. And I'm glad you said what you said. It makes me happy. And that's what I would like to, in my opinion, of course, to see, because that's what we need here. We have a lot of minority people, but we also have low-income people. And I think that's what we have to kind of remember. We are people that can go out and make $100,000. Not everybody can, some can, but can make $100,000, $200,000 a year and exist. They're in the borderline of making, I'm not including myself because I'm way down in the totem pole, but barely making $60,000 and thereabouts, and have a family, and they got to support that family as well as pay rent. And I think if we can, not me, but if you can make affordable housing where they can afford to buy a house, and they don't have to be real expensive and real massive, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a living room and a kitchen, maybe a small yard for the kids to play, and of course the bigger the house, it will go 3 bedrooms. But keep it where they can afford to pay for it. That's, I think, the magic word. Thank you very much for letting me talk.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Marvin, that's excellent. I remember my brother-in-law was in the union, and he helped build the Microsoft Center. And every time he would take my nephew, he was so proud to show him, I built that. And I remember a story about Ford. The reason why Ford was so successful is that their own people were building the cars and then would buy the cars they built. So it's very important for us to have the people that live here build the homes, because they'll have pride. We built that neighborhood. Look at it. It's still standing. We won't have cracked foundations and having to sue developers because it's built wrong. So I'm all for this. I support it wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Sean, do you have anything to say? I shouldn't ask that.
He really shouldn't have. But I just wanted to thank you guys for coming out. And again, this is the city of Lancaster. Whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're a frontline worker, whether you're a union worker, or whether you're both, your talents and your time is valued and needed here. And I'm glad that we're taking steps to keep you guys here.
Yes.
Thank you, Sean. Yes. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution 2308 and the introduce ordinance number 1100.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. Passes with 4 yes votes. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully we can get together and get something worked out.
PH3.
As long as they got more Highland people, I'm okay with that.
Thank you for your time. PH3, I'm going to open the public hearing. We don't have any speaker cards. We do. Yeah, we have to now.
Oh, God, this is now short. There we go. Vice Mayor, Chris, and members of the council, the Avani North Specific Plan was adopted by the City Council in 2017 to allow for the development of a community with 753 single-family residential lots and 2 parks at the southeast corner of 70th Street West and Avenue K. CV Communities is requesting to amend the specific plan to change some of the development standards, including lot depth, width, and size, and to modify some of the internal street circulation. These modifications would allow the site to accommodate an additional 120 single-family lots for a total of 873. The resulting minimum lot sizes would range in size from 5,000 square feet to 6,600 square feet. The Planning Commission reviewed the specific plan on December 12, 2022, and voted to recommend approval to the City Council. Staff recommends adopting resolution approving the specific plan amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike White? Welcome.
Good evening, Mike White with City Ventures. I'm here to answer any questions that council may have. Thank you very much. I want to thank staff too for working with us on this project.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion. I'll close the public hearing.
Excuse me. I'll move that we adopt resolution number 2309 and find that the city has complied with the California Environmental Quality Act.
As stated on the agenda.
As stated on the agenda. Thank you.
I second that.
You're not going to make me read all this, are you?
She just did.
No.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes with 4 yes votes. We thank the Planning Commission for all the work that they do. So tell them thank you.
Yes.
Council agenda.
Who's Ken Mann?
Who is that guy?
So are we, is the mayor nominated, or do we pull this off the?
I'm not aware of a nomination, so it might be appropriate to continue this item.
I thought we had to, it's time sensitive.
The mayor, I believe the mayor has the authority to do it without council approval, but we wanted to put on a council approval just to do that. It's your call, sir.
Yeah, why don't we
Okay,
just wait?
let's, I'll make the motion to have Ken Mann on it with the approval of the mayor.
I second that.
Let's vote.
And make the finding listed in item number
Yeah.
2 on the agenda.
We have a CEQA finding, none.
Oh, my gosh. All this.
Passes with 4 yes votes. Council reports. Ken,
Where do you want me to start?
I want you to start on the 14 freeway and tell everybody,
Well, there was some good news about the 14th.
yes, and then tell them about the law enforcement operations for the homeless.
Well, that's good and bad news. Well, let's talk about the good news first. So both Marvin and myself sit on North County Transit Commission, and after, and I was going to use the word beating, but I'm not quite for sure if that's the correct word, but probably is, beating on staff, we were finally got agreement.
Not our staff.
Not our staff. No, you're correct. But we finally got agreement that we're going to move forward on the study for the 6 chokehold points on the 14 freeway that causes us all the duress for time-wise travel back and forth. That's good news. Marvin and I have been working on that for how many years, Marvin? I can't even remember.
12.
Yeah. So often at times, people don't understand how long it takes to try to get things accomplished. But several $1 million have been appropriated or set aside for the study, and they're moving forward. And that's the first catalyst to being able to get those repair work done for those 6 choke points on the 14. So that was good to hear. And I think this last year, having several meetings, getting them to turn around, because it started off reluctantly, wasn't going to do anything. Then they moved to 2, and then we just kept after them. And then lo and behold, they announced yesterday that they're going to move forward with the monies to start the work on 14. So.
Not actually the work.
No, the study to
environmental impact.
environmental impact, correct. And then the second item we've been, what would be the appropriate word that we would use?
Complaining.
Complaining, okay. Enforcement on the Metrolink in regards to the amount of homeless that comes up to, from Los Angeles into the basin here, and us being the end, has a tendency to, we're the ones that ends up getting the homeless. So this is what's really funny. I have all the statistics with me. So we asked for them to look into it and start enforcing fair, as well as all the issues that surround the amount of homeless. And just in the month of December, we had a 400% increase between altercations with homeless. These are crazy statistics in 1 month. So what really it shows us is all along, all the conversations we've had where, hey, the homeless are coming up to Lancaster via the Metrolink and they're in denial about it. Wrong. Just in 1 month, we had that big of an increase in some of the categories
Of citations.
of citations. That's a 400%.
Makes sense.
1 month. So what would that be? So again, the intention is to keep our foot on the gas pedal and keep the oversight so that maybe we can stop taking on homeless out of Los Angeles. It's not our responsibility to take care of somebody else's problem. It's one thing to take care of our own, but to take on the burden of homeless out of Los Angeles, that doesn't fly.
Just so everyone knows that the new dictionaries are out, and under squeaky wheel, there's a picture of Ken. So he is doing the work of the city, and we're trying diligently to change things. But they did do, and even on the platforms, they had over a 50% increase. But are they prosecuting any misdemeanors?
Probably not, huh?
So the captain is shaking his head, no. And when we did all those marijuana operation out there, they arrested 271 people. Do you know how many were prosecuted?
There were no prosecutions for the narcotics arrests.
So everybody needs to really understand that it is not the deputies that aren't doing their job, it is the district attorney that's not doing his job, because they're writing the tickets, they're writing the misdemeanor for either the marijuana bust, the trespassing tickets, or other things, but they're all being denied by the DA's office. So there's not much we can do when that type of operation is happening. Darrell, you have anything?
I'm on 2 committees myself for the city, but right now we're just in review. We had 2 reviews for the year. We're getting ready to get started. I did want to tag team with you. I was watching the news today of Mayor Bass doing her count for the homeless, but there was other cities that had done their count, and everybody's up so many percent. And it just made me kind of think that how somehow we were told that we're the same when every other city is up. It was kind of laughable. And I agree with you, Marvin. I saw another report that Target and Walmart have so much theft that they believe it's going to cost the consumer billions of dollars in increases because of what's going on. So it's being passed on to the consumer. So it's very important that we use our voting power when we vote for these people in line. While it sounds good that we want to do certain things, I have a couple of homeless people that we allowed to sleep around our church. When this rainstorm was going on, we have ledges. And it broke my heart because a couple of these men I begged about a week ago. Come on, let me see if I can get you in a shelter. They had 7 blankets apiece, and they refused to go. Until we change these laws to help people help themselves that don't know they need help and really get these people into places, I can't see a sane person wanting to sleep outside in wet weather at 32 degrees. That's just not sane to me. And so until we change some of these things, you know, a person that's hooked on drugs don't know until the family has an intervention or force it. We have laws that make people, we're going to take care of you and become your guardian. They did it to Britney Spears, a pop star. So if we can do that to people that we care about, we need to do something for these homeless people. And all of them, I know a lot of times we think just building houses is going to be the solution, but it's not a one-size-fits-all, especially if people don't even want to go into shelters. That may help a third of them. But we have mental illness, we have drug abuse, we have alcoholism, we have so much that's dealing with this. And some of these people, we have to almost force their hand to help get help. So I agree with you on that. And I don't think it's being mean. I force my children to go to school. I force them to eat vegetables. I force them to become productive citizens.
You forced them to eat vegetables?
I sure did. I didn't want them to be big like their dad. I wanted them to be big in society, you know. So we have to make sure that sometimes tough love does work, and we're doing it in the right spirit. So I agree.
Speaking of putting them in houses and everything, Rod, you want to give us a report on the motel that burned down and why?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, that would be the Lancaster Inn, and I think that was Friday it occurred. So unfortunately, one of the rooms was lit on fire, and a female perished. Sheriff's investigators are handling that. Arson and homicide investigators are looking into that. But when we did go to the hotel, that particular building housed, I think it was 47 residents, and out of that 47, 44 were actually vouchers, LASA vouchers. There were 3 paid residents in there. And we became aware of conditions in the hotel because we got invited into a few rooms, pretty deplorable, but the majority of the residents in the entire structure, and it's entire hotel, it's a 3 buildings hotel.
Is it fair to say that they destroyed the hotel?
Yes, very, very fair. And it's also fair to say that the large percentage, I would have to guess and say it's definitely in the upper 90s, would be voucher holders.
It's hard to get them in hotels now because the hotels want your insurance. If you put somebody in there, they want it so if they tear up the room, again, I know this for a fact, that they want to charge somebody for that. And so you're caught in a catch-22 where you want to help people. And you say, okay, come on, staff, let's go get them a room. And then when you get there, they say, are you guys going to be responsible? Now you're looking at a different situation. It's not $122 for a night. You're looking at thousands of dollars for somebody you don't know if they tear up the room. And so, you know, we have to make sure that we find a way to fix this somehow, you know. But we can't take on what Ken said, other people's burdens.
I agree. Raj?
Yes, I have, last week I got to go to Justice Sunday. I've been going there for like last few years. And I have to say those students does such a good job. I actually, you know, one thing I want to say that while other kids are out of school, Christmas time, they're having a good time, but these kids, high school students are like working, practicing every day. And I actually had to go and watch them one day in EV High School. And it was really amazing to watch them working hard, and they were really dedicated. So just wanted to shout out and tell them, like, they did such a good job. The rest of the council was there too, so.
You said you had 2 boards? 2 things? Did you go to AVTA today?
Yes, I did.
You were saving it for you.
I was saving it for you, Mark. I mean, I wanted.
I have a point.
Go ahead, still say it.
One good thing about AVTA, we did cross the threshold of 10 million miles. So we're the only agency in the United States that has 10 million miles behind it. So I think that's the biggest thing. It is a 100% electric fleet. Art?
Yes, sir.
You want to come up and talk?
If you'd like me to.
Sure.
Come on up, Art.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about what you do.
I'm with AV Transportation Services, and we run the microtransit and dial-a-ride program for AVTA.
And how does that work?
So we run in parallel with Access Services, and we provide microtransit services for areas like Lake LA, and we do dial-a-ride for the seniors and folks with disabilities.
So if someone at home needs help and dial-a-ride, how do they contact you?
So for dial-a-ride, you need to pre-register. If I'm not mistaken, you have to also register with Access and then register with AVTA. Once you're registered, you're on our roster, and then we can provide services. It's $3, depending on your zone and your area. It's $3, $3.50, or $6. And microtransit, it's basically the bus service, but in a smaller on-demand manner, where it is, if I'm not mistaken, 75 cents and $1.50, depending on where you're at. And we pick you up from a mile away from a bus stop, and if you're further away from that, we pick you up from your home.
Curb to curb.
Almost curb to curb, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Art.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay. Nothing from California Choice Energy, nothing from Housing, nothing Finance, Power Authority, Successor, City Manager.
Yes, sir. You'll see in some of our social media and the paper announcement that we have received our first application for hydrogen development. It'll be one of the largest in the United States for 20,000 tons of hydrogen. I don't know what 20,000 ton looks like, but it sounds like a lot. It's about 1,500 acres on the east side of town, so we're excited about that, our first hydrogen project. I know we've been talking about it. The mayor's been talking about it for a long time. And we finally see some of those jobs coming to us, that we're going to see local people hired, creating green energy to be serving the state of California. So we're excited about that. Also want to talk about the community center. If you can imagine, it's a year old now since our grand opening. If those of you can remember, I think Raj was there, Fran was there, some of us were all there. It's been a year, so they're actively engaged in providing services. So we're going to go celebrate them March 24th for their annual celebration. Open Roads program, you've seen some of that on our social media as well. That's our Buy Local program, so we're aggressively seeking people to join us in that app to buy local. There are incentives for that, so take part in that. It's an ongoing Shop Local campaign that'll be continuous, so once you're on the app, you can continue to benefit from shopping local. Sprouts is opening in the spring. We met with the CEO last week. They're excited about being in our community and serving our public with fresh fruit or veggies and services. So we're excited about that. And happy to announce that Capital has received a $7.7 million grant for active transportation and safe routes to schools near El Dorado Elementary, Linda Verde Elementary, and Paiute Middle School. So we're excited about that. That's all I have.
Okay. City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council Agency Authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards may be found on the back table of the council chambers. If you have completed a speaker card, please ensure you have placed it in the basket so that you may be recognized. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please keep in mind, state law prohibits the council from acting on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
Rob, come up and tell us why the gas bills are so high.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Chris, council members, Mann, Malhi, and Doris. It's good to be here tonight with you. I'm Rob Duco, Public Affairs Manager for Southern California Gas Company, covering the Antelope Valley. As I think I emailed all of you last week, I'm here tonight to tell your constituents in a public forum that natural gas bills have spiked this season. If residents haven't gotten their bills yet, they'll get them soon, and they'll see that bills this month are double what they were, or more than double what they were for the same period a year ago. This is because of several factors that are beyond our control, that are market-led. The high rates are because of historically high natural gas prices on the West Coast this winter. I'll remind you, as I think most of you know, we don't set the price of the commodity of natural gas. We purchase natural gas on the regional and national markets and deliver that gas to our customers and charge our customers the price that we paid for the gas. We are allowed by the Public Utilities Commission to also charge for the delivery of that gas, which they set that price at, and that's how we make our money. But when the price of the commodity itself goes up, we don't make money off of that. And that's what's happening here, is that the price of the commodity has spiked for a number of reasons.
So who's watching that?
Everyone who uses it. I mean, consumers are, if you're looking for a regulatory body that's watching it, I'm not sure.
Well, if you guys aren't watching it,
Well, we watch it. We try to buy at the
you
lowest.
have no interest in it, correct?
We have interest in it because we want to buy at the lowest possible price, because we want our customers to
What
pay
makes
the
you
lowest.
want to buy it at the lowest price?
We want our customers to be able to afford the product we're delivering to them. When it's a lower price, we can store it in our storage fields for later usage. In fact, right now, the price we charge for the commodity is set monthly. And so the price for the month of January is lower because we have gas in storage that we bought at lower prices during the summer, and that helps bring down the overall cost. But according to the United States Energy Information Administration, there's a number of factors contributing to this price spike on the West Coast. Widespread below normal temperatures over the last couple months from the Canadian border to the Mexican border. As a result, there's higher demand for heating in those areas, in the 3 states on the West Coast. There's reduced supplies coming to the West Coast from the Rocky Mountains and from Canada. And there's reduced supplies coming to us from the Southern Rockies, West Texas, which is one of our major supply areas because of maintenance on a major pipeline from West Texas. And we started the winter season with lower than normal storage levels along the entire West Coast. There are a number of things our customers can do to help reduce their cost. They can lower their thermostat 3 to 5 degrees if their health permits. They can, proper caulking and weather stripping around doors and windows can help reduce not just heating costs in the winter, but cooling costs in the summer. Washing clothes in cold water can reduce costs. Reducing temperature on a water heater can reduce gas usage. And limiting the use of non-essential appliances such as pool heaters, spas, and fireplaces can reduce usages. SoCal Gas has donated $1 million to the Gas Assistance Fund, which is a fund that helps income-qualified customers pay their natural gas bills. This is triple the amount we normally contribute to this fund annually. More information on all of these items can be found on our website, socalgas.com. You can go to socalgas.com/manage higher bills for tips on reducing your usage, socalgas.com/assistance for information on the Gas Assistance Fund, and just socalgas.com for a lot of other information. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you may have now or later, or any member of the community may have, if it's appropriate.
How long do you, I literally just got a text, I just showed a council member, a 72-year-old woman living on the west side on a fixed income, was used to her gas bill being $150. It came in at $472.
Yep. More than double, it's triple.
She can't afford to recaulk her house, and she's cold, because it's cold up here. How long do you anticipate this being this way? Or is this like the gas in our cars, it's just going to be this way now?
Well, I'm not an economist, or I can't tell what's going to happen. Prices are lower in January than they were in December, which means our February price will be lower than our January price. And, as supply and demand levels out, market forces typically say things level out eventually, but I can't forecast if that'll happen or when it'll happen.
But you guys buy in bulk, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So for the next winter quarters, we expect for it to be this high the whole winter.
Well, we buy, as I stated, we set the price monthly. So the last week of December, we set the price for January based on our December experience. We'll do this same the end of January, set the price for February based on the January experience. And right now, prices in January are lower than they were, especially toward the end of December. So that's trending, the prices will be going down, but they're still well above what they were a year ago.
So you think this would be the highest that we may see, to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, if you look at the prices on the open market, the spike is lower than it was a few weeks ago. But that's, that's information anyone can see. The U.S. Energy Information Agency, U.S. Energy Information Administration has a website that they update weekly with regional and national market information.
So do you have a website that we can tag onto that will help our residents if they want to know why they're being charged so much?
Well, SoCalGas.com has links to a lot of things that can help them reduce their bill, assistance information. I believe in the email I sent last week, which I can send again with the website, there was a link to the Energy Information Administration, a link to their weekly updates. I think they come out on Thursday.
Jason, can we
when they're updated each week.
Add to our website a link to their website?
Yeah, that would be very easy.
Yeah, let's do that because I think we're going to get a lot of complaints.
And I can help you, Jason, with the links you want.
Okay, Rob, thank you.
All right, thank you.
See it? Talking to your mic, go ahead.
So my recommendation was that maybe we can post on our social media page what you listed, the things you can do at home, like lowering your thermostat, adjusting your water heater, using weather strips. That could help too, because some people might see it on Facebook, but might not go to our website.
And the assistance program. Yeah.
Very true.
Okay, Victor.
Howdy. Victor Schermerhorn, I'm back again. Hate to be here for this, but I am. We still have the same problem. The deputies I'm calling up, just for instance, today, this morning, I had a vehicle parked across the sidewalk. Couldn't get by. Called the sheriff's department. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. They go out there about 9-something, I found out. Didn't see it. Gave them the address and then told them exactly where it was. Gave them the license plate number, the whole 9 yards. They still didn't see it. So this afternoon, the vehicle's still there. I go to the sheriff's department, show the lady at the desk over there the picture, showed her the address. I said, can you let the dispatch know that I have a picture of it right here that you've seen? There is a vehicle there parked across the sidewalk. Actually, there was 2 of them at the time, right next to each other, parked right across the sidewalk.
So Victor, I'm confused. You're complaining about a vehicle parked across the sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How can you get by in a wheelchair? Okay? And this has been going on a lot of times. And then I'm concerned about vehicles parked in front of the fire hydrant. The deputies come out, they don't see it for some reason. I can't figure it out where their eyes are. Okay? Because I got pictures of it. I got a video of a deputy pulling up next to the car next to the fire hydrant, this far away from it. Went and made his report, said he didn't see anything. At the same time, when he left, he made an illegal U-turn. You know, no blinking lights, no nothing, just whipped a U-turn. He stopped there for like 5 seconds, went and made a report that he didn't see a vehicle in front of the fire hydrant. Got a lot of that. I got a lot of proof. I got pictures, pictures and pictures, okay? I've got deputies, people call, when I call, they're telling me it's not illegal to park in an alley. How many people know it's illegal to park in an alley? I do.
Victor, talk to us.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, you know, they're coming out to my calls. They can't see the vehicles illegally parked, you know. Finally, I called today to code enforcement. I said, what about this? Why are they not doing anything, you know? So she goes, can you send me a picture? Yeah, I can. I send her the satellite picture from when they did it 6 months ago, showing this vehicle's parked right there in front of the garage, broken down. The deputies came out a week ago and said, I contacted the person and the vehicles broke down. they should know it's broke down in front of a garage. They need to get it moved out of there. It's illegal to have anything in front of your garage, especially when it's parked halfway in the alley in front of a garage, especially when it's out of date. The tags are out of date for 5 years. And they just leave it there, and they've gone there and seen it a half a dozen times and didn't do nothing. Till yesterday when I called code enforcement, and then they send an email to parking enforcement, and they went out there and put a red tag on that one car. But I also told them there's several cars in that alley parked illegally, outdated tags. Some of them don't even have license plates. They're just driving right by them saying that they don't see them.
Okay, Victor, we'll look into it.
Okay, could I speak with you after the thing, Rod? Okay, I'll be waiting. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Andrew Nguyen? Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Christ. Good evening, City Council as well. Thank you for having us. This is my first time attending a City Council meeting in person, and I appreciate being here. My name is Andrew Nguyen, and I was born at AV Hospital. I went to Sacred Heart School right down the street. I also graduated from Quartz Hill High School, and although we're no longer rebels, I'll always be one, you know? I went away to Monterey Bay for college, and I graduated. I'll complete my master's program by the end of this week, and I've lived West Coast and East Coast and in between, and have had many valuable life learning experiences along the way in each of these places. When I arrived back home, it was suggested to me by a family friend that I become a substitute teacher, and so I did, and so I am. I began and still currently work with the AV High School District. I've taught at most of their schools, as well as in Oakland and San Francisco. And despite the unique differences between cities here and there are echoes of similar challenges both there and here. Now, I understand I've come and gone for some years, and that there are countless things that I don't know and that I don't understand. But California is my home. The Antelope Valley is my home. Lancaster is my home. I live here and I work here. I have family here. I plan to be a family here with my fiance. Last June 16th, I attended the Lancaster Homeless Impact Commission meeting, which is posted on the city's YouTube channel. After I spoke with the commission, I was encouraged to apply for the open seat. I was then invited to tour at Valley Oasis in Palmdale, and I was grateful for the opportunity to go and experience that, and I did. I then wanted to go follow up at the meeting that was in July, and which I was granted the morning off from teaching at summer school at AV High School, only to discover that when I arrived that it had been canceled. Later on this week, I wanted to attend another meeting, and I learned that the commission is no longer active the way that they once were. As I hope you can understand, given our current circumstances in the city, this caught my attention because Lancaster has declared a state of emergency regarding the movement of the population from outside of the city, and I fully agree with that. I fully support that. Without a reasonable doubt, because this population is certainly present just about everywhere you look in a variety of ways. Especially because, I live close to the Lancaster Inn, and that is a very interesting location at the moment. There's a lot happening there. I believe that this is a really pivotal time for us as a city in the middle of an evolution. And I have faith that we as a city, we can create special solutions that can greatly impact our entire valley. And I'm just here because I want to figure out how I can be a part of something to help. I don't really know where else to turn. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. My name is Sean Cannon. I'm Deputy Mayor here in the city of Lancaster. I just turned 23 years old. So I got involved in public policy because I want to be a teacher. I was an avid tutor for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. I'm raising my son and my family here. Cool. And I decided to do this while I'm going to school because by the time I become a teacher, having been a faculty member and a student, by the time I become a teacher, I want to make sure that I at least did my part so that the kids that I'm trying to teach can focus on what I'm trying to teach them and not social equity issues like homelessness and the things that we deal with here in the city council meetings and be an impediment to that. And so I would encourage you to apply for the Social Equity Commission. Okay.
There is a vacancy.
Cool.
And if you are looking to use your perspective to better the community, you are in the right building.
Awesome. That is, I appreciate that a lot.
Of course. Thank you for
Okay.
your service and what you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Walker? Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, all. I'm just going to make this brief. I just originally came to observe and report. I wanted to comment on what someone said about, I believe it was you, Councilmember Doris, about the homelessness and the risk of getting a room for someone and the potential charges you might have. That is definitely something to consider. But I also have stories of individuals who were housed in these in motel rooms from Valley Oasis. And those rooms received about $2,000 per month for those rooms. And these conditions were substandard. $2,000 a month, I did the math, and it was very expensive for this one young woman and her 3 children. $2,000 a month, a motel room on Sierra Highway for almost 2 years. So there definitely needs some kind of collaboration or intervention with these nonprofits who are not being audited. So when we're looking at cost, let's look all around that. Different directions, because there's money out there that is being misappropriated. And that's what one of the things that the NAACP is beginning to look into. There is also mention of the community center. I've been trying to get a hold of just information for the center and the community homes, the neighborhood homes in Lancaster. I have the emails, I've called, and I've been misdirected. I've even reached out to the pastor for Grace Chapel, and he said that he had been in contact with the city of Lancaster, and it was almost about a year that I noticed that his contact information was still on the website for managing that. And I inquired again about it recently, and it was finally taken off, but I'm still not getting responses from calling, from going in, and from email for over a year. So I definitely am interested, and I will support a community center that does serve the community. So I will be there on the 24th of March, you said?
You can go there, it's open to the public, you can go there anytime.
Yeah,
Sonia's right there, she'll be after the meeting.
I'll go again. My last bit for you, I did want to reintroduce myself as the new president for our Antelope Valley NAACP, and I am bringing in a lot of attention on the Antelope Valley to assist. So I will be coming prepared with options, ready to work, and we have a meet and greet scheduled for February and a potential reparations town hall. Wonderful reparations talk, so hope to see you guys there, and we're taking memberships as well.
Thank you. We welcome the help.
Yeah. Ms. Carter? Ms. Carter? Walker. Ms. Walker, I'm sorry. Just so that you'll know, we were very influential in dealing with one of those one of those homeless centers. We actually got kicked out of a meeting because we was asking those very same questions. I don't know if you remember with the homeless and the hotels. 2 years ago, we were on the news because a certain entity had lost money and they were kicking all the homeless out. And the city had to step in and help do that. And we found out they had $30-something million.
Oh, yeah, we're tracking down at 250 million, but we are networking with the other branches.
We were actually trying to see if we could grab that money and do it ourselves, because we felt the same way. If you're paying $2,000, why not get a home? You know, so I agree with you. Marvin, Chris, we've asked for audits, we asked for books. We did a whole, what was it, about 4 or 5 months, Marvin? We tried to do it. So we're on the same line with that. Trust me when I say it. So I appreciate it. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
All right.
Fran? Friend, do you want Ken to sing you happy birthday?
Yes.
I think it's already down.
Wasn't that doing?
Fran, happy birthday. You don't look a year older than 53, 54.
Well, thank you very much, because I'm going to be 80 on Friday.
Congratulations.
I'm a mother,
Fred, just think the only one older than you is Ken.
Oh, yes, and I'm a mother, I'm a grandma, and I'm a great-grandmother. And I'm very happy, and I've got the best son-in-laws in the world, because they take real good care of my daughters. I have 3 daughters. Anyway, thank you very much, Ken. I appreciate it. One of the reasons, I have other things to talk about. I did want to speak about myself. I did this morning also at AVTA. I'm very proud to be my age, but I'm also very proud that the Lord has given me the graces to do what I do here for Lancaster, for our community, for our people, for our seniors, and our homeless, and the people that cannot help themselves. That gives me the best feeling in the whole world. And I enjoy working here in Lancaster, because you know I love Lancaster, and I love all of you, and the public. And you know how much I get paid? I get paid a lot of money. You know how much? I get paid with smiles. Just smiles. Okay, now that I said my stuff here, I also was going to wish the mayor a belated birthday, because his birthday just passed too not so long ago. But he's not here, but I'll take care of him.
He's not as old as Ken,
Oh, okay. So I did want to bring up, I went last Saturday, even though it was raining cats and dogs. Or I shouldn't say it, that's not very nice. It was raining quite heavily. I went to 118th Street in South LA to an empowerment conference, which was at the W.R. Drew University, which is founded by former supervisor Mark Bradley Thomas. And the main reason I went is because the mayor was going to speak, and she did speak, Karen Bass, and so did the new chief of police, and some other dignitaries were there. And there was a lot of people, even though it was raining hard. There was quite a few people there. And the mayor did say, of course, that she's going to do something about the homeless. She's working on it. And she didn't really she can't really give total details of what she's doing right then and there, but she's working on it. I also wanted to bring up that I was speaking, I guess it was yesterday already, with Melissa, Christina, and Rebecca on your community center real quick. And we were talking about building up their senior activities. And even though, like I said, I'm involved very heavily with our Lancaster AV Senior Center. I mean, that's my #1 spot. I explained it to the girls. But I'm willing to help. I'm helping them as best I can to build up the senior activities at the community center. And I guess I've got my 3 minutes in, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. And I mean, some of you don't know me, but you will eventually. But thank you very much again. Good night, and thank you.
Thank you, friend.
God bless you all, and God bless
birthday
America.
David Paul. Welcome, David.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. I love coming here. You know, I tell you what, our world is in trouble. We all see it. Somebody told me today that there's a Russian submarine verified on the East Coast with a hyper-nuclear missile. We don't know what's going to happen, but this is what I know. I've been involved in all of these things for over 2 decades, and I go to the meetings and I know the people that are trying to help, and we could do a better job, but there are always problems with cross-jurisdictional agencies and just the manpower. And Vice Mayor, thanks for talking about the marijuana bust and how demoralizing that must be for everybody involved to not even draw a case. It's just indicative of the fact that we're really on our own. And so I see all these things. I talked last time about a voucher. That's about the best help you could get if you're homeless. And now we have this thing, and, you know, we haven't managed all of that, but that has absolutely nothing to do with this city or a lack of trying by everybody involved. So these things are huge. I made a couple of notes here. Mr. Doris, Britney Spears can get a guardian because she has future income she can make, and she has a record catalog. But these poor other people, I mean, that was Ronald Reagan in the 80s pushing the people out of the mental institutions with substance abuse. There's just nothing we can do. We have to find some creative way to deal with it. And I do have some ideas, but we are not allowed to have an encampment where people can just self-organize. So that's one of the things. As far as this community facilities district and the gas company, you know, I would ask you guys to consider this. You talk about discounts, and I'm a senior citizen, but I'm also a veteran. And there are a lot of disabled veterans who carry a 50 to 100% ranking for PTSD, and some of these guys should be, and women should be offered a discount for these services. And the other thing I was thinking about with the Social Equity Commission, you know, I went to a meeting a few months ago when the guy from DCFS came here and said he wanted to join. That's the guy you've got to put on that commission so you can grill him about doing a better job. But, you know, if anybody finds fault with the effort, it is not within this city or our sheriff's department. These problems are insurmountable, and we're doing a pretty darn good job. And I thank you, and I stay in the fight to help and just become aware of what we can do and where we can do it. So we'll get through this. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay. Council have anything else?
I just want to give a prayer out to our Asian community with those mass killings, and just say that I know our city stands, and we're praying for them right now, especially with the incoming of the Chinese New Year. It was supposed to be the year of peace, and what they went through. I just would like to say that I know we all are in agreement of that, a prayer for our Asian community. So,
Raj? Ken? Sean? Okay, we stand adjourned until Tuesday, February 14th. Valentine's Day.